Hello everybody, Landi here, and today we have a video game ranking that I've been waiting for a while. Or not quite waiting for, but wanting to do, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But here I'm doing it now, so we can just shut up about all that. Alright, getting back on topic now, I'm going to be ranking the Five Nights at Freddy's games. I'm a pretty big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I was huge into it when I was in middle school, because everyone was. And I still do like the games. I respect just the legacy. And hey, there's even a movie now, so it's just like, it's a whole big franchise now. So yeah, this video I'm excited for. I like this franchise a lot. And specifically, I'm going to be ranking the mainline games. So I'm not including FNAF World or FNAF AR. And also, at least for this list, I'm not including Ruin as its own game, because that's DLC for Security Breach. So I'll just kind of lump that in with Security Breach as well. But yeah, we have 10 games to rank here, which is just a nice number, and that is with the recent release of Help Wanted 2. And when it comes to the FNAF games, I haven't actually played all of them, but I have at least watched all of them. So I at least know what I'm talking about here. But without further ado, I'd say we just get right into this. Here at the number 10 spot is the only game on this list that I just don't feel like playing, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Custom Night. Now, I get this game, it's kind of fun and novel, and just that it's just this big custom night where you can do whatever the frick you want, but I just don't think it looks all that fun. Like, I've seen all these different combos and all the different things the animatronics can do, and there's certainly fun things like the cutscenes and then Mr. Hippo's monologue, but the game as a whole, it just doesn't look all that fun. I've watched multiple hours of this game, and it just doesn't captivate me at all, and I just don't feel like playing it. So maybe a controversial pick. I don't know what the fan consensus on this game is, but I just don't really care for it. Coming in at number 9 is a game I remember being super hyped for when it first released in 2016, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. This game, it was cool. It was like something different, you know. It was the 5th game in the series, and it didn't have a number in the title, and it was just very different from what the first 4 games did, where you were walking around, almost like a point-and-click adventure sort of thing. But I think that's kind of where the novelty in this game wears off and where it compares with the other games, because Five Nights at Freddy's is supposed to be like a stressful horror experience where you're in an office or in a bedroom, wherever it may be, and there's animatronics and they're coming to you, and you're trying to keep them from annihilating your ass. But unfortunately with Sister Location, it really just feels like a point-and-click game with some gameplay elements here and there, especially that annoying 4th night. If you've played the game, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. That night is not fun. But yeah, it's a game that's a cool idea, cool experience. I remember really enjoying watching this being played when it first released, but it just doesn't quite hold up gameplay-wise. Next up is a common pick for least favorite FNAF game. I'm talking about FNAF 3. After the 1-2 punch of the first 2 FNAF games, FNAF 3 kind of whimpered a bit. We went from all these animatronics to really only one that can actually kill you, and that is Springtrap, who is a really cool character and huge in the FNAF lore. However, only having one animatronic that can kill you, and him having one of the lamest, funniest, don't get me wrong, I think it's a funny jump scare, but it's not a very scary jump scare, you gotta admit. And you have the Phantom animatronics, who are kind of cool concepts, but they don't actually kill you. They just hinder your fighting against Springtrap, and it just kind of makes it seem less interesting only having Springtrap, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel as good. But again, all these games except for Ultimate Custom Night, I would play again, so, you know, it's still alright. Next up is a FNAF game that is probably objectively one of the best, but I can't handle it because, like, it's FNAF 4. Yeah, this game, if you've seen gameplay of it, it is anxiety-inducing to the maximum. This game was made to make you piss your pants, alright? Just the anxiety of going to the door and checking and trying to hear for the breath, which is super faint to start off with. You have to really listen hard. And then if you fail and you get jump scared, because you're listening so intently, all of a sudden your entire world is rocked. You are jumping. It's very effective. I think that's a good way to describe it. However, I just can't play it too much because of that. So it's down here at the number 7 spot. At the number 6 spot is the most recent game in this series, that is Help Wanted 2. And this game, it looks like a pretty fun VR game. Now, I don't have VR, but from what I've watched of it, it looks like it would be just a fun, like, collection of mini games to play in a VR setting. And by fun, I mean scare your socks off kind of fun. So it's like that. But I don't feel like I have too much to say about it. It's just, again, like a collection of games in VR that have the FNAF characters, but it doesn't really feel exactly like the other FNAF games, so to speak. And that's just going to lead me to number 5, which is the first Help Wanted game. This is very similar to the last one, although I give this one the slight edge because this game focuses more on actual FNAF gameplay. So it's like the FNAF games 1 through 4, maybe? 1 through 3 at least, but then I think you get parts of 4, Sister Location, whatnot. And it's basically those games, but in a VR setting, which I can imagine is probably very scary to have life-size animatronics at your door. And so I think that Help Wanted is probably a really fun VR game. I just have not had the chance to play it because I don't actually have VR. In at the number 4 spot, I have FNAF 6, or Pizzeria Simulator. This game really just came out of nowhere, and it's really good, actually. I think back to just that December of 2017, and how much I watched not only FNAF games, including this one, of course, but also FNAF fan games, and just was taken back into FNAF after kind of drifting away from the FNAF fandom a bit, just being like, oh yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's because of this game. But to the game itself, it's a simulator, and that is really freaking cool. I'm a big fan of like simulation games, and this takes that concept and puts a FNAF skin on it, and that's really cool. But also has its own like Five Nights at Freddy's nights, so it mixes a simulator with actual like your typical Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay. And the gameplay of the FNAF part is definitely a bit difficult, but I do think it's interesting enough. But what this game really shines is this story. This is really the actual, like, Scott Cawthon made finale to FNAF. And I just think it's excellent the way it was done. I love it at the end. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but this game, just really great story-wise. And I think that alone gets it up really high. It was really close to my number 3 spot, just right there. So just a really good, solid game. Number 3 might be a little controversial because I know a lot of people played this game at launch, and it was apparently very buggy and very rough around the edges. And I am, of course, referring to Security Breach. But I played this game about a year after it released. So it released in, I think, December of 2021. I played it in like fall of 2022. So I had a year worth of fixing bugs, and of course there's still some bugs, but like a lot of the bugs were fixed, and I got a much cleaner experience, and I just have a ton of nostalgia for this. I remember I'd get on this game, open up a box of Cheez-Its, crack open a can of some sort of 300 milligram caffeine energy drink, and I would just play this game for hours, and I'd talk to friends. It was, I don't know, this is definitely an experience subjective based pick, but I really enjoyed my time playing Security Breach, and I got pretty much all the endings. I think there was just one ending I didn't get, but I got the rest. Played this game for a lot, it seems. Probably logged in quite a few hours into this game, but I really enjoyed it. It's very different. It's not the most scary, but I really do like the 80s vibe. I think it fits the FNAF franchise well, and I don't know, I just really enjoy Security Breach. I gotta add, Ruin is also pretty fun. I'd say it's hard to really compare because Ruin is a lot more linear, but I think it tells a good enough story and is interesting, and it keeps me wanting to see more in terms of the FNAF lore, which is pretty good considering I feel like the post-Cawthon era story just doesn't hold up at all. It's not the strong suit, you know. I feel like FNAF 6 really just finished it off, and then 7 was just kind of like a epilogue. This modern FNAF story, it's not the greatest, but Ruin did keep me wanting to see more, so kudos to that. Alright, we've arrived at the number 2 spot. These top two, both just excellent. These are some of my favorite games, to be honest, and the part of that is nostalgia, but also they are just really fun indie horror games. And at number 2 spot, I have FNAF 2. This takes the concept of the first game and changes it up enough to really just be a different game. You know, you have no doors, but instead you have, you know, the toy animatronics, the withered animatronics. You have Foxy, who you need to flash a flashlight at. You've got Mangle, and then of course you have the puppet and the winding the music box, an iconic part of this game. And I just really have a fun time playing this game. It's definitely just a fun challenge to go back and back. Just keep trying to attempt it. You lose, alright, time to get back into it. And that's just the fun of FNAF. Like, it's one of those, if these top 2 FNAF games, if you lose, you are motivated to try again. It has that effect, and I just really like that. You want to succeed, and so you want to just keep trying again for hours at a time, just to try and beat the game. And I enjoyed that thoroughly with FNAF 2. But of course, that leaves only one game left, and that is FNAF 1. Yep, my favorite game in the FNAF series is the first. I mean, they knocked it out of the park with this game. I mean, seriously, the mechanics of this game, I love. You've got the doors on both sides. You got Bonnie and Chica trying to close them and try to conserve power, of course. But then you also in cameras, you got to watch Foxy, you got to watch Freddy, and again, the power, you got to manage your power, listen for the sound effects. It's excellent. I love this game. I've played through it multiple times. Each time it's fun. It's just like, oh, what do I want to do today? I don't know, I'll just play some FNAF. Why not? I just really love the first FNAF game, and it's no wonder this game spawned an entire series, but also an entire franchise and fan games and indie horror games inspired. This game is owed so much, and it is just an excellent game. I love it, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, there you have it. There's my rankings of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and I enjoy playing FNAF. Let me know in the comments what your rankings are. I'd like to see, because it definitely varies from person to person, and just the experience someone gets from a FNAF game. So I'm interested to see what you all think about this franchise. And until next time, see ya.